Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Sometimes it's sad but also a celebration when you find out that, the police chief in town, he is the biggest criminal in town. Or let's say you have a judge who's prosecuting, crimes against children, like pedophile and all that, and he is a pedophile. And then, or you have, for instance, lawmakers who are breaking the law constantly. What is so, fantastic when you find out, wait a minute, what's going on with these guys? What do you do with these guys? Well, first they lose any credibility, obviously, and I hope that, the law will be applied equally and fairly. Correct? Correct. Well, in this case, if you remember, the United States of America, yes, the United States of America, is still in Syria. It's present in Syria, and it's been over there for about 10 years or so. 10, almost 11, I think 11 years over there. And I was wondering, what is it doing over there? What is the United States doing in Syria at this point? Were they invited? No, we know they were not invited. That means that their stay over there is illegal. Do they have military? Yes, military presence. Why? Well, some say they take the oil, they make sure that some other individuals take the oil, bring it to the US bases in Iraq, and then from there distribute it to I don't know where. So you see, when you hear these angels saying that Ukraine's sovereignty was violated and all that, and Ukraine has the right to defend its territory and so on, then how about Syria? So I wondered how much oil these guys sucked out of the Syrian ground, the Syrian oil of the people of Syria. The government has to take care of that. Well, I found out. I just got an article today, and I also found out what are these guys doing over there. I'm talking about the US Army that somehow I pay for. Okay? Let's see. So this article comes from Al Mayadin. That's an Arab independent media outlet, and it's from today, the 2nd of December 2022. Well, first we find here that, for instance, on December 1st, it says that on the morning of December 1st, the US forces sent 54 oil-laden tankers from northeastern Syria to its bases in northern Iraq, the latest shipment of stolen Syrian oil to be delivered. And that is according to the Chinese foreign minister, isn't he? Yeah, foreign minister Zhao Jiang, spokesperson. I'm sorry, not because is Wang Wei is the foreign minister, but this is a spokesman Zhao Jiang. So this guy right here, you see this guy? Yeah, come on. All right, that's the guy. So this guy said that on December 1st, the US forces sent 54 full tankers from northern Syria to its bases in northern Iraq. And that's basically stolen oil. Okay, well, not okay, but you know what I mean. And then the same diplomat will tell us more, because they have balls. Why? Because they're a little bit upset, and they have the power to kick back at the big offender here. The Chinese diplomat also highlighted the financial losses of the continuous US looting and smuggling of Syrian oil. Do you know how much that is? It amounts to what? And I'm quoting Mr. Spokesman. According to the official data from the Syrian government, I know what you think. They're lying. Well, who's not? Should I believe the offenders? No. So this is the official, I would say, data, right? Information from the government should control that oil. It's theirs, right? So it says, according to the official data from the Syrian government, between 2011, so this guy's been there at least from 2011, right? And the first half of 2022, right? The US's smuggling activities have cost Syria more than $100 billion of losses. Will they pay it back? Reconstruction of Ukraine, remember that one? Reconstruction of Ukraine, Russia must pay, blah, blah, blah. What about this one? Where is this $100 billion worth of oil going to? Who benefits out of this? Syria? Obviously someone else, not Syria. Now, what is the US doing in Syria? Besides being an occupation that backs armed groups for its own operations and an agenda in the region, the US occupation forces continue to steal Syrian oil by smuggling it from the bases in Syria to their bases in Iraq. But this is what the United States, paid by me, does over there. But I'm not a legitimate target. I'm not supporting them. Not by my taxes or anything like that. That's why, I'm outside. I don't support that. Convoys of tens of vehicles, including tankers loaded with stolen oil from oil fields occupied by US forces in Syria, which, mind you, are about 900, from fields occupied by US forces in Syria are frequently seen crossing towards northern Iraq, in addition to trucks loaded with military equipment. The US interference in the crisis-stricken Middle Eastern country continues to be exposed from occupation to military agenda and the theft of oil. Are you with me? Good. Plundering Syria's oil resources and depriving Syrians of resources. It is noteworthy that Syrian state media has accused over and over again the US and the so-called, Syrian Democratic Forces, armed groups of occupying areas in the vicinity of oil-rich fields, smuggling resources to Iraq and then siphoning them out. Well, this is what happens. These guys, so-called Syrian Democratic Forces, they were backed by United States of America, and they just started, they wanted to topple Assad, as they did with Yanukovych in 2014 in Ukraine. The same thing. But these guys were armed, like the other ones, armed and so on and supported. Those guys were getting a beating, and the Americans came and saved them. The Russians saved the other ones, and they stopped to a little status quo. Remember, United States is not invited by the government. Is invited, if it invited, by their slaves, servants. How do you want to call them? Those guys right here, who are the democratic forces, because they say so. Like you have in the United States, Antifa. Antifa means anti-fascist, because those guys who are acting like fascists, they call themselves Antifa, and they fight against the fascist, because it's in the name, right? The same here. Because it's in the name. If I put my name from now on, Angel Perfect God Emil, that means I am all that, because I said so. Shouldn't my behavior prove that? Well, that's why these guys are over there, and they also are with the Kurds, and they get the oil. What do I do? What do they do with the oil? Obviously, finance certain things over there for the democratic forces of Syria. Now, I have to be honest. Not that I have to. That's the way I think. We like to think about ourselves. I don't know much about those guys over there, how democratic they are. Maybe they are. I know that Assad is not the most democratic person, but that's not my job as a different country to go in another country and dictate and tell them and support something that has nothing to do with me. That is between them. That is between. I shouldn't have to do anything about it. I mean, that's not. It's like if they come and interfere in my shit here, all right, we're not. That's not good. But we do it with these guys are doing with armed forces, and we're okay with that because we support democracy. Just because they call themselves democratic, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So the United States has been for years supporting SDF, that is Syrian Democratic Forces, and militias against Damascus, and where is the legitimate government recognized by the United Nations. What do you want? And the US-backed forces are currently occupying parts of the provinces of Al-Hasakah, Deir ez-Zor, and Raqqa, where the largest Syrian oil and gas fields are located. The actions carried out by the United States constitute state piracy. Woohoo, they're pirates! With the aim of plundering Syria's oil resources and depriving the Syrians of their own resources amid a harsh economic situation caused largely by the occupiers, the Americans themselves. Yeah, so they get the oil, that's what they do. And they stay over there to create a problem for supporting their democratic forces, basically. Let me tell you a little story. Maybe you're familiar with Jordan Peterson, okay? The psychologist. And he's a very intelligent person, no wonder, and very courageous one, no wonder. I like the guy very much, and I like what he says. So, like all of us, we make mistakes, but he is fantastic overall, good. Now, he said in one of his lectures, I watched his lectures when he was at the University of Toronto, I think he used to teach, but anyway, so he used to say over there that women, they have preferences, they made opinion poll on women, what kind of individuals they like, talking about pirates over here, yes, it's being pirates. When they play games or whatever, they get them aroused. And on the first place was pirates. So women like pirates. Those pirates, you know what I mean? With a knob. Boop, boop, boop. All right, come on here, baby. All right, and with the knob. Anyway, so that was the first one. The second one, it was werewolves. When was the last time you saw one? I'm not talking about the TV. And a third one, I think it was doctors, if I remember correctly. Medics in uniform. They like uniform. Yeah, they do like uniforms. So these are our women. They like pirates. There's no such thing. They like werewolves. No such things. And there are medics and people with uniforms on the third place. So congratulations. All right, and they vote. But that's the preference. That's the you know what I mean. Turns them on. That's fine. I got like 3 pirate suits in my... This is a pirate suit right here. How do you call this? A shirt. Button shirt of a pirate. Yeah, that's why I wear shirts. Anyway, so this is it. We got the pirate, United States of America, looting about $100 billion of Syrian oil and staying over there illegally. And United States likes other countries' sovereignty, defends them, like Ukraine, and international law and a law-based world. They're promoting it. Let me get a little bit of Paganini and give you a campanella. Okay, check it out, campanella, very nice. And you can find it, as I mentioned before, played with Paganini, Niccolo Paganini, Canone. Il Canone. Il Canone was his, I think, last violin. Beautiful. So they have it. There are people who play it, and Campanella with Il Canone Paganini. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.